From highways to bridges to parking lots, driving around town can be stressful, just like insurance. But having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like expecting summer temps and discovering it's fully sweater weather. When you need real coverage for real life, State Farm can help you switch and save today. Visit statefarm.com and learn more today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm.
There's a beauty in the way you're worn and the sharpness of your thorns, so vibrant in the imperfections. In the pain there's something real, all that anger so concealed. Still you're lost in how to feel, just let me hold that severed world. The pieces feel so cold. But the tears won't bring it back to life. But hate will always grow. There's a beauty in the way you lay and the way your color fades. You stand out now with your imperfections. Oh, it was never meant to fall apart. It was not supposed to cause us harm. But these days all I do is wonder, is it better now that we can start again? 'Cause in the pain there's something real, all that anger so concealed. Still you're lost in how to feel, just let me hold. Oh, that's severed world. The pieces feel so cold. Oh, the tears won't bring it back to life. But hate will always grow.
My tears like rain run down the window. I repeat your name, losing no wisdom. My tears like rain run down the window. I repeat your name, losing no wisdom. Please tell me why you love me. Ooh, please tell me why you will be mine another way. Na 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 na, I'm the dummy babe and I'm on my way to you. Na 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 na, I'm the dummy babe and I'm on my way. My tears like rain run down the window. I repeat your name, losing no wisdom. My tears like rain run down the window. I repeat your name, losing no wisdom.
Welcome to Walgreens. Looking for a holiday gift?
Sort of. My cousin Freddie showed up to surprise us.
Oh, sounds like a real nice surprise.
Exactly. So now I have to get him a gift, but I haven't gotten my bonus yet. So if we could make it something really nice, but also not break the bank, that'd be perfect.
How about a Keurig for 50% off?
Bingo.
Savings all season. The holiday road is long. We're with you all the way. Walgreens. Offer valid November 26th through December 27th. Exclusions apply.
With Target, gifting has never been easier. This Saturday and Sunday, Target gift cards are 10% off with Target Circle. Treat everyone on your list to something you know they'll love. Gift cards for the trendsetters, the techies, the fashionistas, the foodies, and even yourself. The perfect time to save is now. This deal is a yearly fave, so hurry. Get more gifting for your buck and save 10% on Target gift cards with Target Circle for 2 days only. Only at Target. Restrictions apply.
Do you spend time scheduling hourly employees? When I Work is the
Boom! Hola! ¿Cómo está?
Estoy CST.
You too?
I got
How's
my.
everybody doing tonight? Please ignore the screaming in the background.
That was so
I'm having.
perfectly timed.
He is. He's usually perfectly timed. He's got.
Play, please. Oh, there we go. Oh, we're live. Oh, hi.
Hi, everybody.
I did say boom.
I
I don't. I
didn't register.
yeah. Look, and she was even the sober one last night, so I don't know what her excuse is.
Nothing. We got no excuse. We're
You know what? I am like about punch happy after all the customers we dealt with today.
I mean, fair, completely fair. And I did want to say thank you so much for putting up with my shenanigans last night, Cash, and viewership.
Why wouldn't
Because
I?
I know, but I'm just saying I was completely unhinged last night, and I wasn't even that inebriated. Okay, it just I decided I don't give a fuck, right? Now this is not doctored tonight. I do have to work in the morning. But also the shenanigans continued after in the Discord. Lots of cray cray happening in the Discord. And then today we have been having a very wonderful discussion back and forth about music, about genres of music, specific bands, just all over the place, learning about each other's tastes in music. And again, we're not just all about books. That's our focus. Books, reading, writing, eventually doing cover art and editing and things like that, but we're unhinged on all levels. And yes, I may have let the world know about the fact that I still owe Cash a Backstreet Boys concert along with prepping her out in retaliation for the 1999 Marilyn Manson and gothing me out fiasco.
Well, I will say none of us will ever be able to afford Backstreet Boys tickets ever again. So I think Cash is kind of safe there.
What are you
I don't
talking about?
know. It's Izzy.
It's Izzy. Izzy will find the deals. Izzy has a $75 pair of boots that she got for $14. Izzy had a $170 coat that she got for 98 cents. Don't test me.
What you
I have a
got?
patch that says I identify. How does that read? I identify as a threat. My pronouns are try/me.
Loading screen. What do you mean, Bitzer?
Uh-oh, what do we got?
He says Kesh or they Z says Kesh
Says
has the loading screen. LOL.
I'm showing over here on Twitch and on YouTube.
Yeah,
Everything fine. Bits
that's
is
what I'm.
having all sorts of fun tonight.
I see that.
May have to pop out and reload the page and pop back in. I'm not sure.
No, I don't want the German keyboard.
But yeah, so don't try me. I will save up if I have to.
I just keep hoping you'll fucking forget about that, or
I
at
will
least
never. I will
I mean,
never.
you can take me to New Kids on the Block. I'd be fine with that.
No, the 1999 retaliation promise was Backstreet Boys
Help.
with preppy clothing. And it has been how many years and I still have not forgotten about it? I would have to have brain damage in order to forget about this.
Honestly, I think even with brain damage, that would be the only thing that your brain latched onto.
You know, I might even forget my kids, my cats, everything, but I would remember that this person named Kesh is owed a Backstreet Boys with preppy outfit. That's probably the only thing I would remember.
Can I at least can said preppy outfit at least be like shades of black and gray? Can we compromise there?
I mean, you let me wear blue jeans.
I'm guessing because trips weren't available.
We were broke.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And back then, I was like 90 pounds soaking wet.
Oh my God, Leon, we are not getting into that conversation.
Seriously?
I barely have a
Leon?
voice. Do you really want me yelling at you?
If you'd said Lady Gaga, yes, she does have metal elements in her music.
Backstreet Boys is not metal.
There is no metal elements.
There's none. None. And trust me, I lived with a metalhead for a year and a half. And I'm still best friends with her nearly 30 years later.
I think he's trolling us.
I know he's trolling us, and it's working. And don't make me come for you.
I mean, he
do
already
need to go
got
to
me at him over in chat earlier.
Yeah. So anyway, Discord, it's a fun place to be. We have talked sorts of stuff. But you're not here for that. You're not here to see the completely unhinged, non-book related shit. You're here for more stories. And it looks like we have 5. Wait.
4.
Question.
Nathan,
No, can I finish my sentence?
For this week. Sorry.
That's what I was just getting ready to ask. Okay, so I skip over that one. Oh, you fucking didn't, Cash.
What did I do?
So obviously in the inbox, it says the sender, the subject line, and it shows a preview of the first line. I just saw the all capital letters content warning and the word after that.
Oh yeah, that. Oops.
So innocent. So innocent. I'm wondering.
Not really, but
she bothered to read it out loud to see how bad it was going to be before having me read this.
I haven't had a chance to this week. I literally.
All right, folks, share it out. Share it out to your friends on Facebook, YouTube, whatever, all the places. Hey, Shay. I don't know how to pronounce that, Bitzer. Saha Boys, whatever. If that's the thing from K-pop Demon Hunters that does soda pop, no. That is way too cruel to do to Cash. I will stop at Backstreet Boys. Will not subject to soda pop. Although, you know what? That might be the best thing to frickin' spring on her for the React videos that we've talked about doing. Since I've heard it, introducing to her and horrifying and letting the whole world fucking see it.
And I will look my gothiest metalhead when we do it. It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
I won't look preppy like I do right now.
That ain't
I
even
got
the
called
movie.
preppy by 2 of my customers today, okay?
They
They're
don't
like,
know what they're
"Hey,
talking about.
you looking so preppy today." It's a sweater.
No. No. All right. Let's get Nathan Stark's name up here. And don't forget, viewers, post live stream. Our voices and the author's words are not to be used to train AI. Secondly, the words presented tonight belong to the authors that submitted them. You can tell who did it by the name on the bottom of the screen. It belongs lock, stock.
I'm seeing online. I'm seeing it.
No, mine says that we're offline. Now it goes. That was okay. Good news is that it is although it will be apparently split into 2 VODs over on Twitch, it will be shut up, Izzy. I don't need to hear your voice right now. Suddenly the Twitch was volumized, and so I'm hearing that while I'm trying to talk. Split. I swear, I am not drinking tonight. Okay. It'll be 2 VOD videos on Twitch, but it will be 1 continuous stream on YouTube. There we go. That's all I was saying. These stories cannot be trained for AI in any capacity. The words belong to the author listed at the bottom of the screen. And in addition, we have permission just solely based on the submission factor. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. One Nathan Stark. Don't forget your hankies, your stress balls, snacks, drinks. The Birthday Killer. The letter. Snow swallowed the town of White Hollow like a quiet, hungry animal. Houses disappeared behind curtains of frost, trees hunched their backs under the weight, and the mountains, sharp and black, stared down like a threat. Winter here wasn't a season, it was a sentence. On the morning of her 19th birthday, Mila Rowan woke to the sound of her mother singing a hymn in the kitchen, a lullaby about rebirth, about the purifying fire of winter, about death. Everything in White Hollow was about death in its own poetic church. Her eyes and stumbled toward the smell of coffee. That's when she noticed the envelope on the doorstep, half buried in snow, like someone had shoved it under at the last second and fled. Plain white. No stamp. No return address. Her name was written in shaky penmanship. Mila. Her heart clenched. Something primitive in her chest whispered, "Don't." But she opened it anyway. Inside, there wasn't a greeting, or well wishes, or even her name again. There were just 6 names, printed like an obituary: Lena Weaver, Callum Holt, Isaac Rowan, Vera Quinn, Riley Beckett, Dominic Price. Mila's breath hitched at the 3rd. Isaac Rowan, her brother. Gone 3 years now. Ran away, sheriff said. Couldn't handle grief, people whispered. God took him early, the pastor preached. She always felt they weren't prayers. They were excuses. Her hand shook as she flipped the page. On the back, written in red, not ink, but something thicker and slightly smeared, were 3 words. One of them died today. The world tilted. Her mother's voice cut through the silence. "Breakfast, love." Mila didn't answer. She couldn't. She stared at the names, at her brother's ghost staring back and realized that for the first time in 3 years, someone else remembered him too. The sheriff's office sat on the edge of town, a squat brown building more like a cabin than a government center. Snow dripped from the sign, pooling into a dirty slush that reminded her of melted bone. Detective Jonas Hale was already waiting when she walked in, because Jonas Hale was waiting. The only man in town who looked more haunted than she felt. Battle scarred eyes, salt shadowed stubble, that posture of someone who'd once carried bodies out of places no one came back from. He studied her letter in silence while she sat across from him, twisting her gloves. Finally, he ex- It's probably a prank. It isn't, she muttered. You don't know that. I know my brother's name is on that list, and someone says one of them is dead today. Jonas's eyes flicked up, sharp, analytical. No missing person report has come in. Maybe it hasn't been reported yet. Mila, just look into it, she pleaded. Desperation cracked through her voice like ice under pressure. Please, don't dismiss this. He leaned back in his chair. A muscle jumped in his jaw. He seemed to be fighting two instincts, protect and retreat. Finally, he said, voice softened, stop trying to figure everything out. Just focus on now. She flinched like he hit her. Focusing on now is what this town does, she snapped. Ignore pain, pretend nothing happened, hide behind church hymns and solstice rituals, and meanwhile, people disappear. His voice dropped an octave. I know people disappear. Their eyes held, not as detective and civilian, as two people who had bled for things no one believed. He folded the letter, slid it into a plastic bag. I'll check the names. It was small, but it was enough. Until the radio blared from the hallway, a deputy's frantic voice. Sheriff, we found a body in the river. The dead and the living. They found him beneath the frozen sheet of water, his face pale blue, hair fanned like seaweed. The ice had shattered around him, jagged and violent, as if winter itself had murdered him. Name, Dominic Price, one of the six. The deputy whispered, trembling. So the letter was right? Jonas didn't answer. He didn't have to. Mila stood behind the police tape, boots sinking into bloody slush, watching the coroner bag Dominic's frozen hands. She didn't know him well, only that he worked at the logging yard, laughed too loud, drank too much. But he was alive yesterday. Not anymore. Something had shifted in White Hollow. Something old, something patient. Jonas stomped toward her, coat open, chest heaving steam. This isn't for you. I'm not going home. You need. What if more letters come? She whispered. What if someone else dies tomorrow? His jaw hardened. He hated how reasonable she sounded. You're not a detective. No, but my brother is on that list. Was, is. She never knew which hurt more. Jonas's shoulders dropped, defeated. Fine, he said, but you follow my lead. And if things get dangerous, they're already dangerous. He didn't argue. He couldn't. The snowstorm swallowed the town whole. Power lines sagged. The church bell echoed through empty streets, calling people inside for warmth and prayer and denial. The winter solstice mass was coming. The town spoke of it like salvation, the return of light, the cleansing of the old. But Jonas always looked uneasy when the subject came up, as if the truth wasn't holy, just hidden. Mila and Jonas sat at the diner, a dead neon glow buzzing above them. Jonas stared at photographs from the river, Dominic's frostbite, the bruising on his neck. Could he have fallen in on his own? She whispered. Jonas shook his head. No, he had ligature marks. Mila's stomach twisted. Murder? He didn't respond, but silence was answer enough. Her eyes slid to him. You left the city because of a case, didn't you? Jonas didn't look up. You heard that. Everyone heard that. White Hollow devoured gossip the way it devoured snow. Jonas finally spoke, voice brittle. I chased a killer for 14 months. I thought I knew his patterns, his methods. I thought I was smarter than him. He rubbed a hand over his face, eyes miles away. He killed a child the night I thought I caught him. I blamed myself. So did everyone else. Mila watched him quietly. What was the killer's name? Jonas shook his head. It doesn't matter now. It does. He met her eyes, and she saw it. The guilt, the failure, the constant burn self-loathing. It matters, she whispered, because you're here hunting another one. He stared at her, startled. As if this town attracts ghosts. He opened his mouth, but a knock on the window cut him off. The pastor stood outside, white robes flowing, mask hanging at his neck, pristine, untouched, waiting for the solstice. His smile was syrupy sweet. Detective, he said through the door, we're praying for the victim. You and your companion should join us. Jonas didn't move. The pastor's smile sharpened. God sees everything that's done in darkness. He left footprints in the snow like stains. Mila's voice was a whisper. This town is sick. Jonas didn't disagree. That night, a second letter arrived, slipped under Mila's window. 6 names again. 1 crossed out. Dominic Price. Beneath it, 6 words. One of them dies tomorrow night. And beneath that, happy birthday, Mila. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just stared at the paper and felt something cold coil around her spine. Someone was counting down, and she was at the center. The twist of a knife. Jonas drove her to the station, knuckles white around the steering wheel. You need to stay somewhere safe, he demanded. Safe doesn't exist, she shot back. The storm battered the windshield. Jonas slammed the brakes and turned to her, eyes burning. You are not responsible for this. Her lips trembled. I lost my brother. I didn't save him. I didn't even know he was drowning. I was too absorbed in myself to notice. He wanted to say something comforting, but he didn't. Comfort is a promise. He didn't believe in promises. He said quietly, grief doesn't make you psychic. It doesn't make you God. She sneered, broken. This town thinks it does. The solstice mass began at midnight. The church filled with white masked congregants chanting hymns about purity, blood, and rebirth. Candles burned like small dying suns. Mila sat in the back, coat soaked, shaking. She wasn't religious. She was hunting. Beside her, Jonas scanned the crowd. Too many faces, too many secrets, a pressure in the room he couldn't name. The pastor took the altar, arms spread like wings. Tonight, he boomed, we mourn the lost and we celebrate the chosen. Mila's stomach dropped. Chosen. Like a sacrifice. A masked woman approached the altar. Vera Quinn. Another name on the list. She knelt, trembling, as the pastor lifted a ceremonial knife. Mila shot to her feet. Stop! The church gasped. Jonas grabbed her arm, pulling her back. It's symbolic, he hissed. They don't kill people. They just act it out. Do they? The pastor's gaze found her, empty, hungry. He smiled. The knife came down. Blood splattered the white robe. Screams erupted. The church dissolved into chaos. Jonas vaulted the pews, grabbing the pastor, slamming him into the pulpit. Light flickered. Candles toppled. Mila stumbled forward. Vera collapsed, breathing. alive, blood pouring from a shallow cut in her arm. A ritual, not murder. Not yet. The pastor laughed, voice shaking the rafters. She is reborn, purified. Jonas cuffed him anyway. The crowd roared. You don't understand, the pastor hissed. We cleanse the willing. We save the chosen. The killer is not here. Mila froze. Then who? The back doors slammed open. A figure stood in the doorway, wet coat, hair dripping, hands stained red. Mila's mother. The mother, the monster. The room held its breath. Jonas reached faster, stepping forward, arms shaking. Mom? Her mother smiled, soft, sad, relieved. My sweet girl, I've been waiting for you to understand. Jonas's voice cracked through the silence. Put your hands where I can see them. She didn't look at him. Only Mila. Do you know what they are planning? Her mother whispered. The prophecy? The sacrifice? You were meant to die tonight. Mila's knees buckled. I saved you. I saved you from them. The congregation screamed denials, but something in their eyes wasn't denial. It was fear. Jonas stepped forward, voice steady. Where were you last night? Her mother didn't flinch. With Dominic. Alive or dead? Silence. Then a whisper. He begged me to kill him cleanly. Mila gagged. You killed him. I spared him. Her voice broke. The others were going to feed him to the river, offer him to the cold. He didn't want to suffer. Jonas's voice hardened. You're confessing to murder. Her mother shrugged. I'm confessing to mercy. The pastor shrieked. Lies! She is the devil! She whirled on him, eyes wild. You wanted to kill my daughter! Mila stumbled back. Me? Why? The pastor lifted his chin. She is the seventh, the final, the catalyst. Mila's heart crashed. Catalyst for what? His voice thundered. For the return of the Lightbringer! In the blur that followed, Jonas tackled the pastor. The congregation surged, and the world folded into screams. Through it all, Mila stared at her mother, drowning in waves of grief and horror. You killed Dominic. Yes. You sent the letters. Yes. You knew the others were dead. Yes. You made me believe. Her voice splintered. You made me relive Isaac. Her mother softened. Isaac didn't run away, Mila. Her stomach dropped. He died? No. A beat. He was taken. The last name. Hours later, with the town in lockdown, the dead counted, and the truth shattered, Mila sat alone in the police station. As dawn bled over the mountains, Jonas placed a paper cup of coffee beside her. You should rest, he murmured. She stared out the window. Is my mother insane? Jonas hesitated. Maybe. Silence. Or maybe she believes the truth the town buried. Mila shut her eyes, voice trembling. I wanted the killer to be someone evil, a predator, a monster. Jonas sat across from her. She wasn't a monster. Mila looked at him. She killed people, Jonas. I know. He leaned forward, voice low. But the alternative is worse. She frowned. What alternative? He slid a file toward her. Her brother's file. Classified pages, missing persons reports, symbols carved into trees, rituals abandoned decades ago returned, reborn. His voice sounded like death. Someone else is killing in White Hollow. Mila whispered, broken. But my mother said she saved me. Jonas nodded. She was trying to. Mila swallowed. From who? Jonas stared out the frost-covered window, then back at her, eyes hollow. From the one who took your brother.
I beg your finest fucking pardon.
Belongs up
I'll
here.
talk to him when he comes in at Christmas, okay? I will talk to him.
Are we
Belongs up
done?
here.
Are we done? Is that done? That was it? I have a shelf out there that I need to like just devote to all my friends and their books and people I haven't met yet who submit and their books. I went this one yesterday. Yeah.
I promise when he comes in at Christmas, I will have a stern talking to him, probably over a latte. But
Oh no, Mr. Fisher, you come back on screen.
I have to go handle your guts up. Hold up, 1 moment.
All I can say is duck tape.
Except he does have to go back to school and he has to get his degree and everything so that he can then focus a little bit more time on writing and give us more of this shit.
Yes.
Remote schooling.
Not everybody offers that for every degree. All right, Bitzer. No. No, again, I say, knowing how young Nathan Stark is, okay? Because let's face facts, I could probably be his mother. But, whether he stays with the name Nathan Stark or not, it does not matter. Whatever he winds up going by for the publication of his books, he has a long and illustrious career ahead of him.
Yes.
For being this young and being able to grasp the stories and be able to pull off grammar to this degree. I mean, there's some formatting things and, places where it should probably be an actual paragraph as opposed to every single line, but that's nothing. That's something a formatter or an editor can help out with. The point is that the words that are on the page are fucking phenomenal. And to be this young and have this much talent, this much skill, good fucking God.
I just stopped by the freezer and get me an ice cream. I'm emotionally distraught.
Yeah.
Look, we all know that Izzy does not do horror. Y'all are dragging me into it, kicking and screaming. That's fine. That's fine.
And
I'm
you are
getting there.
enjoying it.
I'm fucking enjoying this, number one. Number two, I don't like Stephen King because I have nightmares. Okay? However, I am obsessed with the Colorado Kid. And thus far, everything that Nathan Stark has given us has given me that heart palpitation of what's around the next corner, just like Stephen King's The Colorado Kid. I'm invoking the king.
Now, what did Bubba have to say to me? I had to go run off and deal with the little one.
Izzy told me no, but duct tape.
Oh no. I've already threatened him with it. It's fine. It's like already done it.
Well, we're about to go into Christmas break from school anyway, so.
I'll have a sit down with him when he comes in next week for Christmas break. I'm just very glad that he's taken my advice. Okay, Bubba. He's already working on the sequel. Lord have mercy. It's not a sequel when you leave us on a cliffhanger like that.
I think I wrote a
Everyone, I
cliffhanger. That's
target the writing, kicking and screaming, and
yep. I intentionally left mine on a cliffhanger just as a forewarning to everyone.
well, I can't say mine is left on a cliffhanger, so to speak, but I did have to omit because about a whole back half of a scene again for
Mm-hmm.
time out. That and it. Well, I know why it happens like that. It didn't really fit. I gotta work. I gotta work on some timing issues.
Yeah. I honestly, I took so long to write what I did that I ran into like this wall where I was like, I can't really edit this the way I want to. So I'm hoping mine doesn't sound super rough. That's
And see, I'm running into the same issue because I didn't have a plan, like in head plan, until I think it was Thursday. Like I knew about what I was going to do, but I had no idea on how I was going to play out certain scenes because certain things have to happen now in this story that I can't wait to happen later. Um, and there has to be this stand your ground type deal.
mm-hmm.
Um, that if I don't put it in now, it's just gonna get feathered over, and it's gonna be like, well, why did this happen? Why did that happen? And then I got to feather it back in later, and it's like, nah, no, better just do it now. And that's basically what I did. So, well, I don't think it got left on a cliffhanger, so to speak. Does not mean that that's not what somebody else can think. Izzy, are you okay?
Izzy, we okay?
Oh, I'm peachy. Oh, I'm peachy. I'm
Really?
fine.
Because
Get
you're
that
not
out.
coming off very peachy.
I, I,
Cash, do me a favor. Turn your camera off. Turn it back on real quick. Okay, now we're good.
What was
Remember the
wrong?
overlap thing that we were doing last week? It was doing it again.
Okay. Mine's all blurry now. I do see that.
Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. I had a message from work and it.
Hmm.
Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. It's always me. All right. Well, if Izzy's ready, I think she's still
Izzy,
processing.
I don't
Izzy,
think I'm ever going to be ready. I don't think I'm ever going to be ready. I don't think I'm ever going to be ready. There is nothing in the world I'm never going to be ready.
Izzy.
Who are
I
we
like the
reading
shirt.
next?
What, brother?
I like the shirt. My husband says thanks for advertising.
I got this when I donated in 2021. I haven't been able to donate since then due to sickness on the days that our work scheduled. And then the last couple of times I had recently gotten a tattoo, which disqualified me. But yes, American Red Cross, I have A positive blood. And in our general area, that is the highest blood need. So since I bleed very, very well, here we go.
Uh,
Absolutely.
and as
And I
somebody who
will
has
leave this
B
one.
positive, I understand that all too well.
Oh, positive.
Oh,
Yeah,
negative.
Oh, so we got universal blood types here, people. We can handle this.
we're good. We're good. Yeah, nope. And in fact, they quite often like don't let me. I'm high energy, right? And my beats per minute are naturally high. So if I'm rushing over from my side of the office to where they are doing the donations, I have to actually sit there almost and put myself into a zen-like trance to bring my normal beats per minute from normal 95 95 to 100. I have to bring it down and go zen and relax in order for them to be willing to take my blood. Because they're like, it's too high. It's too high. You're going to have a problem. No, the fuck I ain't. Just take the fucking blood.
Well, it's like the first
Anywho,
couple of times they ever took they take my temperature, and now since I've gotten older, it's gotten better. But for 5 solid years, I ran at a 99.8. Like that
temperature.
was normal for me.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, "Well, you're running a fever. You can't give blood." And I'm sitting there like, "Check the white count. I'm fine. I just run hot."
Mm-hmm. Yep. And my beats run high.
Yep. I'm not stroke
Okay.
level anymore, thank
Yep.
God.
And Trisha's A minus. I mean, we just got it, right? If we're all in the same place at the same time and somebody is in an emergency and there needs to be some kind of transfusion, we got it.
Yeah, we got this.
We got it. We got it. All right. So next up, we have a new name for a
Old prompter.
current submitter, prompter. Wow, is it just me or am I blurry? That's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. All right. Mountain M Reverie. We affectionately call her Baby B. They choose to hide, every face a walking fabrication that keeps society glossed, shining and pretty fools covering their undergrowth, false gardens brambled, festering and poisonous. I can see them though, all of their secrets, the lies deepen around them, pits of their disgusting nature. I am forced to don my mask. Sometimes it slips, small conversations, or like tonight when I followed their words home, all of the interactions marking routes. I like when I am close, but the truth is hard to resist. Peering over their walls and sliding under forgotten windows. Maybe if they didn't wear masks, I wouldn't have to. How am I to resist it? We all want to see behind them. We have grown tired of my own, or I have grown tired of my own. Their masks must be heavy too. I adore them, the masketeers, the little play actors. This night is the final disguised night. Tomorrow, my garden is going to feed them all, fill them up with the fruits of their lies. Making illusions won't fix problems. They chose to wear masks. I have to for their safety. I'll call her Siren, definitely the loudest person among us. I watch her perform diligently, carefully timed nails, premeditated touches, and swift punchlines. A wonder to witness, and the most potent fertilizer that started my garden. Dancers twirl and spiral down bright golden poles. I stay where the strobes won't touch my face, a far corner next to the wine. My eyes track her weaving through the crowd, throngs of self-inflated gluttons, starving but somehow completely gorged, each one playing their part. Siren glances around, trying to find someone. I keep my gaze on her, waiting for the moment when truth crashes against her decorum and she forgets where she is. Well, forgets who she's pretending to be. In he strolls, unmoved by the music or splendor, and his face unmasked. I love this part, experiencing their recognition and the world toppling into itself. He is searching. I think I'll name him Ido, short for idiot, but it's the title Siren picked, not me. Carefully, I pour wine into the glass. I'm not a connoisseur, but I do know the good stuff is upstairs for the highest donors, their own private party. Special masks go up there, even if they all look the same. Those masks are made from more than typical lies and treachery. They are created with love and extortion. Ido, broad and lumbering, pushes through the congregation. I don't hide my grin and take another sip. I hate reds, but the scene before me sweetens it. Tempted to record the moment, I walk instead, following the shadows under the balconies and close to the wall. Siren weasels from the bodies, and I see a glimpse of a sapphire dress disappear into a hall. Swallowing the last of the glass, I locate Ido. Of course, he is in the opposite direction and searching close to the dancers. Adjusting my jacket, I pull out my cigarettes and walk to the hallway. I peer through the fogged door pane. She is pacing the porch and mumbling into her phone. It wasn't the crescendo I craved, but this will tide me until later. Quietly, I turn the handle and swing the door wide open. Horror. Siren's eyes are wide, face slack, and her lips prepared to scream. I return the wide eyes, but my rolling laughter echoes into the woods. Rage. Her brows crinkle her forehead and make her eyelids fade under them. She glares at me. Faking drunkenness is easy, and I sway off balance. Crashing into her, I grab her shoulder and laugh. She pushes me away and worries about her dress. Arms crossed and goosebumps spread along her skin. She watches me. I slide a cigarette out and turn away from the wind to light it. I pretend it isn't lighting. I glance at her reflection in the pane. This was a mistake. The garden I keep is best planned and cultivated from a distance, never at close proximity. The mask makes it an efficient process if I stay focused. Now I have consequences. Cigarette lit, I take a deep drag. I shift back towards her. She begins to speak, and I blow the smoke towards the sky. Do I know you? You seem familiar. Dumb. Dumb question, Siren. Another drag, and I pretend not to hear her. I keep looking at the sky. Puffy dark clouds move faster as the wind picks up. Fading light silhouettes the dark masses. I feel her looking at me, and I imagine the stray hair that is flitting along her jawline. I close my eyes against the breeze. Exasperation deepens her voice. Okay, move. I need to get back inside. Consequences are impossible to avoid when I am this fucking close to her. I exhale and move into her path. You're trying so damned hard. Truth is, you're terrified, aren't you? Shock. She steps back from me. Her expression grows confused and searching. There aren't options for her now, and she knows it. Calculating and calm, her voice sweetens. I'm not sure what you mean. You want to talk inside? It's getting cold. I enjoy her like this, her fury almost surfacing and her mask struggling. I inhale again and reach for the door. I open it for her and gesture for her to enter. Stepping past me, she smiles. It's a fake one, the one she uses on Ido every dinner. I flick the cigarette into the woods, and lightning spreads through the clouds. Dreamy music drowns the hallway. She waited for me. Anxiousness edges her posture, but she appears relaxed. Moving closer to her, I lean against the wall and expectantly stare. A small laugh comes out of her. What? You're terrified. Another consequence to pay, but I tell myself I am biding time for Ido to find her. Siren scoffs. You are drunk. I don't even know who you are. Am I terrified? I was when you came crashing out. She points to the back door. I don't remember inviting you tonight, but it must have been Amber because her finger points up and down my height. I smile and her eyes drift to it. Don't know Amber. Maybe it was Chelsea. Doesn't matter, does it? I am not here for them. I'm getting too close. Come on, Ido. Cascading beats and cheers sever her attention from me. She looks behind her and my hand moves. I grip her wrist and pull her towards the music. The strobe lights flicker with every beat. Rainbows of color wash over her and I grasp her waist. Her mask is gone. A peaceful smile lingers. Lifting her hand with mine, I twirl her. It's difficult to not watch her, but I sneak glances through the crowd. I don't notice Ido anywhere. Lies were supposed to bloom tonight. Every mask would be broken and I could finally leave. It had to start with Siren and Ido. Now, I have forgotten why I am doing this. With every moment we share, my regret doubles. I waited years for this, planning every move. They chose their masks, they hurt each other, and they built their gardens with lies. Forcing, plotting, and trapping everyone with promises. I only want their masks to go away. Just like now, with her. She rests her arms on my shoulders and slowly presses against me. The song is slow and heavy, the lights dimmed and purple. Breath warms my neck. I glide my hands down her spine, stopping at her lower back. The rhythm vibrates the floor. Her perfume swells, and I can't take it anymore. I can't take anymore. I lean away from her to look into her eyes. A half smile and curious expression watches me. She speaks first. Stop trying to figure everything out, Lee. She knows my name. You know who I am? She nods and pulls me in. Tonight I was supposed to leave. I sway with her and forget about my garden, forget about the masks, and realize I forgot about Ido.
Dun dun dun.
Mm-hmm.
Uh huh.
Mm-hmm.
Uh huh. Wow. That's a good wow. Um, where's the rest of it? Why do I have a feeling we're going to be asking everyone that from here on out?
Oh, it's going to be real bad when y'all are limited to 2,500 words next year.
Oh, you are fine, Jugs. You are fine. That was some fantastic writing. No reason to be sorry.
Like
I think we're all riveted.
I'm confused, but at the same time, like there's something about the garden. There's something about eh, Siren feeding the garden, but at the same time, Lee forgets, and Siren knows him, but yet just out on the porch, she acted like she didn't. Like I'm confused, but in a way that is like, I mean, it's just like the parishioners and the crazy fucking town, killing people with ancient rituals and shit. It's just like the what? What the fuck? Holy hell! Where's the next twist? Uh, 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 there was so much going on in that, and at the same time, not enough. And
It certainly didn't stop getting it drawn in. It was just enough to keep us on our fucking toes, just enough to fucking confuse our asses, and yet we're sitting here going, how the fuck does she know where he is, and where the fuck's the other dude?
You should, Jugs. You should feel good. That was good.
I'm confused and on the edge of my seat, and my heart's doing the whole pitter patter. Fucking, what the fuck, people? What the fuck?
So much for freaking trying to leave us last night on a good wholesome note. No, y'all can't do that. No, you just want to keep dragging things down into the mystical, the shocking, the what the fucks, the holy shit, what the hell, oh my god. No.
I think mine's kind of wholesome.
Girl, we've explained to you. We've explained to you some of the best stuff is written in no time. Like there's no time spent on it. Oh, just kicked my tripod. Sorry about that.
If we remember correctly with Crossroads, I made one mention of a line. I literally had, I think, an hour to write it that night. And it was right before the damn show. I got it in. We did the thing. And then I had to write an entire another fucking chapter that I had no intentions of writing, might I add, because of one fucking line. In a story
Mexico.
that I literally, that was where Mexico came from. And we don't talk about what happens in Mexico. You want to know what happens in Mexico? Go get the book. Chapter 9.
Y'all don't understand. Okay. I have been reading since the age of 4. I have been reading for 41 years. And we are not talking about picture books. I graduated very quickly to chapter books by the time I was 2nd grade, well before my peers. They were still reading easy readers. By the time I reached middle school, I was reading what we now call young adult. By the time I was in high school, I was reading adult books, probably some adult books that I really shouldn't have been reading, but they were what challenged me. So, here's the point in fact. Okay. This is a rough draft show. You have an idea sparked by a prompt and you run with it. You don't need to do heavily editing. You don't need to worry about all the freaking plot holes and everything else, filling them all. Get it on the paper, get it in, get our real-time reactions, Okay? And if you want help after the fact with the whole, okay, but now where do I go? Or I'm not sure, am I missing something? That's what the Discord's for. We have 3 breakout rooms that you can say, hey, do you have a moment? You know, and literally the whole point is to get you sparked. Okay? Here is for the spark. Get it out there. Get your words in front of people so that you can get real-time alpha reading feedback. Then you go to the Discord and you're like, okay, where do I go from here? What do y'all think? Is this too cliche? Does this make sense? Does this paragraph, did I leave things out that I should have put in? And then when you get ready to have the whole goddamn thing done, we've got people who have fucking published. Okay? We've got people who are writing up query letters, try and get their stuff out there. You know? There are people who are self-publishing. There are people who have been in indie houses, vanity presses. We don't like them. Okay, just FYI, we do not like them. And we will help you vet the hell out of anything. The point here is we are your alpha reading group. You put something in front of us, and we're going to tell you, holy shit, ooh, that was a little rough right there, but I like the concept. You're always going to get a fair, frickin' in the moment review from the Izzy and everybody else up here. I know imposter syndrome is strong. Y'all are making me feel like I'm nothing compared to what y'all are doing. And I know y'all are going to say, stop, we love your stuff. Yes, I get it. But imposter syndrome and the imposter monster is real. We all know this. Apologizing all the time and worrying your trauma's showing through. And we love you. Trust that we ain't blowing smoke up your ass. I don't blow smoke up anyone's ass. I don't know how to lie. Hell, I should have spent the entire conversation with somebody last night in private DMs lying my motherfucking ass off. And I couldn't. This does not lie. Okay. Next up, after I get off my soapbox.
What are we laughing at?
Your shortest submission ever.
It's
The
one
one
of
that
my
was
favorites.
exactly 666 words.
That was magical.
And to top everything else off, that's about how evil it was.
It was. It all turned out
Look,
okay in the end.
that one is enough reason to be very, very thankful that I didn't go to very many sleepovers as a child, and my children are now old enough that I don't gotta worry about sleepovers, because otherwise my children will never go on a sleepover again.
I mean, everything turned out okay in the end.
Did it? Did it though? Did it though? We don't know what kind of emotional damage and trauma that poor little girl has. Or if those memories are gonna come flying back to her in middle age.
Fair. All right.
Speaking of emotional damage and trauma, as you see across the bottom of your screen, she's up next. By the way, content warning, one word, tentacles. All Trine could hear is the crunch of her boots in the snow in the eerie silence of the cold winter night as she returned from the town near the Vermilion Palace. Her quiet walk was uneventful till she came up to the servant's door of the palace. She pressed her palm against the door and felt it breathe. She froze, shocked at the warmth and movement of the supposedly dead wood. Pulling her hand back and stepping away, she looked up as the creature revealed itself, looming menacingly over her, the gurgling sound it made sending a wave of fear through her body. Trine frantically backed away, tripping over the basket she had been carrying, forcing her to scramble across the frozen ground, the snow encrusting itself all over her body as she made a desperate attempt to get away from it. A tentacle roughly wrapped itself around one of her ankles, while a second found its way around her neck. The toxin from viscous slime it secreted from its skin, quickly lulling her senses into a dulled stupor. Helplessly, Trine watched as the circular mouth of the doppelganger came closer, the world going dark before her mind could register what was about to occur. The creature shuddered as it finished swallowing, its body twisting and changing form. As it took on its disguise of its meal, it gracefully picked up the basket the dragoness had dropped, rearranging the items and replacing the cloth covering them. It scanned its surroundings to make sure no one had seen what had occurred, placing its hand on the wood of the door, pushing it open, and entering the kitchens, disappearing into the bowels of the palace. Amira watched as Bayard and Zokara played together. She was thankful the two children had become close over the 4 years since the girl had been born, the two having developed games understood only by themselves. The games would go for hours, neither child growing bored or wanting to give up at trying to win. She smiled. When Zokara had been born, she had worried that Bayard might become jealous of the girl. To the contrary, he adored her. The day after she had been born, he had run to the town's toy maker and purchased her a red dragon puppet, laying it at her feet upon his return. He had skipped his sparring lessons to get the toy. Zokara was never without it. If she had wanted her brother, she would thrust the dragon out and say, "Bard," still not having fully mastered her elder brother's name. A handful in the palace knew what she was wanting when she presented it, most people just assuming that is what the young princess had named the little dragon and was just wanting to show off her prized possession, as toddlers are wont to do. She took another sip of tea, continuing to watch the prince and princess play. Both children had red hair, of differing shades, that ran heavily in the Vermilion royal family. Zokara's being a coppery ginger similar to the younger of her twin aunts. Bayard, on the other hand, had the darker auburn that ran in the family, like his father and other aunt, Iliera. Namira sighed at the thought of her previous commander, one of the strongest the Valkyries had known, if not for her impulsiveness. The princess's loss had been felt throughout the palace and in the ranks of the Valkyrie and Oskari. She kissed me on the nose. Do you think she'll miss me once I join the hunt and ride to the Great Hall? He asked, looking back at her expectantly. I have no doubt she will. She will be asking for you until you visit, and then she will ask more once you leave again. Amir watched as he turned to face his young sister again, who stood looking up at him with her arms extended, wanting to be picked up. Bring Zokara to me, Bayard. I want to spend time with both of you this evening. She motioned for him to hand the toddler to her once he gathered the girl in his arms and walked over to Namira, gently placing his sister on her lap. Once she was in her mother's arms, Zokara immediately fixed her attention on the teacup sitting on the table, her tiny hands reaching for it. Namira deftly pushed it away from her daughter's fumbling fingers. No, Zokara, that is hot, she cautioned the curious child, who released a tiny pop and hiss in protest, continuing to reach for the tea. She finally pushed it far enough away that the girl lost interest and started to pull her mother's hair, squeezing in delight. Now, Bayard, do you remember the fighting techniques I taught you a few weeks back? I think they will be a nice surprise when you get into combat situations. Now she wanted to test him. Namira gently untangled Zokara's fingers from her hair as she waited for the boy to respond. May I use your sword? Bayard looked hopefully at the weapon on the wall, then back to Namira. She had finally just returned to her own work with swordplay, having decided to step back from her position in the higher echelons of the Valkyrie to focus on the young prince and princess. I don't know. Do you promise to be more careful this time? I know it was an accident, but a Valkyrie's sword is not an easy thing to mend. She looked at him, the embarrassment in his eyes evident as his cheeks flushed. I still feel bad about that. I was having a hard time with the weight. Bayard's clenched. Bayard's hand clenched his sword hand, relaxing again after a few moments of silence. I think today is not the day. Use your practice stave for the time, and let me see if you have improved. It's a better weight for you at choose. She had yet to use her own sword, since it had been returned to her by the palace armorer. Yes, mother, the boy sighed as he walked to the corner where the wooden sword was leaning. He picked it up and took his starting stance. Both their heads turned as the chamber door opened, King Duran walking into the room, looking at the scene unfolding before him. What do we have here? Is my son showing off his skills for his family? He walked up behind Namira, resting his hand on her shoulder, and ran his thick fingers through Zokara's coppery curls. Continue, Bayard. Doran had a contented grin across his face. Yes, father. The boy's face brightened at the opportunity to show off to his entire family. He took a starting stance, his feet shoulders width apart. He moved the practiced sword slowly over his head, finally leveling the blade in front of his face, and began. Bayard swung, arcing the sword behind his back with his left arm, swiftly bringing the wooden practice sword in front of his body, both hands on the hilt. Had he been in an actual fight, it would have been a striking blow. He continued on, feigning blows, parries, and blocks. He finally stopped when King Duran lifted his hands and began to clap enthusiastically. Your skill has improved. I am so incredibly proud of you, boy. Most remarkable, my son. He admonished the boy. The 14-year-old blushed, his lean, youthful frame not quite out of childhood, but not yet that of a man's either. Duran circled around the chair where Namira sat with Zokara on her lap, the soft, silvery fox fur of his vest brushing up against the reaching fingers of his daughter. She grabbed his belt, wiggling from her mother's grip. Zokara climbed into her father's arms. Daughter of mine! The king laughed in surprise at the toddler's appearance in his arms as he walked toward his son. He extended his free arm, Zokara securely held in the other. Clasping his son's bicep, he felt the developing muscles under the prince's linen tunic. The way you have handled everything since your sister was born has been more than impressive. My hope is that you one day will become the leader of the Oscarai, much like many of our line have. That is one thing the Chamber of Elders and the Governor's Council cannot deny you. Duran looked at the boy, who grinned in return. Bye! Zokara leaned away from their father and toward her brother. Bayard deftly caught her swiftly, like a bird in the air, the practiced sword hitting the marble floor and cracking. The toddler wrapped her arms around her brother's neck and laid her head on his shoulders, closing her eyes. The poppet fell from her hand as she dozed off, Duran bending down to pick it up and placing it under her arm. I have a feeling it will be easier said than done for you to leave for the Horde, Bayard. The king chuckled as he turned away from the children and walked behind the chair where Namira silently sat and watched. He placed his hand firmly on her shoulder, softly squeezing. She looked up at him and favored him with a sly smile, which he eagerly returned. I am quite certain that your sister will be inconsolable once you have left. She is quite beside herself on the days you and your father leave to go into the wilderness with Thrail. When she wants you and can't find you, everyone in the palace knows about it. Namira told the boy, his red eyes widening in surprise as he glanced down at the girl asleep on his shoulder. She reached up to where Doran's hand rested on her shoulder, tenderly stroking the skin on the back of his hand. He raised an eyebrow as their eyes briefly met, exchanging a longing glance. That is a look I hope you follow up with action, Mira. If I didn't know better, I would think that you wanted another child. Duran pulled a chair next to the one she was in and placed his hand around her hip, pulling her closer. She rolled her eyes as Bayard averted his cheeks turning scarlet. Not in front of the children. Namira smacked the king's hand away. Nonsense. Bayard has heard worse sitting with my pack. Add to that, he has been betting one of the apprentice scullery girls, so I do not understand why you still insist it's an issue. The king stood back up and walked to the window that overlooked the palace gardens. She grimaced at the mention of the girl the prince had been caught with a few days before. Father! Bayard protested, his father bringing up the subject. It became almost the same color as his eyes, the deep scarlet flush betraying his. The conversation was interrupted by one of Iliandra's handmaids entering the room, her eyes locked on the sleeping princess. The sapphire blue dragoness stood silently, staring at each of the older members of the royal family. An odd odor began to fill the room, causing the scales along Duran's spines to stand on end as he placed himself between his family and the interloper. Bayard took a step back, placing the table between himself and the others in the room, shifting Zokara in his arms so he could better defend himself and his sister if needed. Namira stood next to Duran, ready to defend the children, along with her mate. Bayard, get behind me where she cannot see you, she commanded him, her golden, leathery wings appearing from the plates on her back, arching them in a way she blocked them from view. The blue dragoness watched as the young prince's feet moved behind the Valkyrie, the boy getting a glimpse of the menacing look the handmaiden stared directly at his sleeping sister, cradled in his arms. Father, what's happening? His voice cracked as he fully hid behind Namira. Bayard, when I tell you to, run, and do not look back. Whatever you do, do not allow that beast to get your sister. It's here to take your sister to the King of Death. A low, rumbling growl came from deep within the king's body as Namira hissed at the other dragoness and stepped closer to the royal family. Bayard's grip on his sister tightened as he took deep, steady breaths in an attempt to keep his nerves calm. The smell that permeated the room since the handmaiden had entered had become nearly overpowering. The mix of sulfur and urea triggering the realization of what his parents were preparing to defend against. Doppelganger. You messy beast. You left traces of your attack the other night. The prints made by your body were obvious you were about. Duran pulled his sword from its scabbard as the wispy blue dragoness's visage began to twist and contort, appendages turning into tentacles, her lower half turning into a massive, circular maw filled with rows of blade-sharpened teeth. The bone-chilling, gurgling sound the creatures made coming from the slits sitting above the gaping mouth. Its bloodshot yellow eyes continued to watch them, going back and forth between dragon and dragoness. The ruthless creatures could assume the forms of anything they wished, making them the King of Death's favorite assassins. The beast was one of the few creatures that could take on a dragon in their true form and kill them. The toxins that exuded from their skin incapacitating any dragon within minutes of the viscous liquid touching the skin. Fear welled up from Bayard's core as he swallowed to keep himself from vomiting. He trembled violently, clutching Zokara to his chest, making the toddler stir in her sleep. Shh, please, Kara. Please stay asleep, he whispered, trying to relax and prepare himself for what he knew would be a flight for both their lives. Okay, not too bad this time. No gagging of, the slime going down the throat or. Hey,
I'm working on it.
Documenter.
I promise I'm working on it. I am. I really am. I was going to have a
Hey!
ritual, but I ran out of time. So you got that instead.
That's absolutely fine. Welcome, Documancer.
You'll
Another
get it.
of
You'll
the
get it.
archive. So,
You're on mute. If you're trying to chew me out, Julie.
I know I'm muted. I'm trying to figure out words. Okay, yes, very much so. We didn't have the ickies. No ickies. Not no shocking, just no ickies. And now that we know that about the doppelganger, that they can fucking transport, because I'm figuring, okay, a doppelganger has to have some sort of limitations, something, anything. It's probably going to be minuscule, but the fact that they can transform into the fucking dragon, that's like, holy fucking shit. That's some shit. And I'm now bumfugled, so to speak.
Is that good or bad?
I
I've
guess
never
that
heard
would
that
also
one.
be what happens next.
Well, we know Zokira and Bayard just survived.
Yeah, we know Secure survives, but we don't know how she ends up in the human world. I'm guessing that we're leading up to how she ends up in the human world.
That's exactly what's happening.
I mean, progression wise, that's where I'm thinking this is going. And you're just confirming it. So okay, cool. Cool. That does not mean that I'm not like, wait, what happens to our brother? Wait a minute, don't tell me. Don't tell me. That's not for us to know right now. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm speechless. I've got theories going off in my head, and I'm up next. So it's like,
You having theories in your head is exactly what I'm going for. That makes me excited.
I mean, I had theories when it came to with the last scene with the doppelganger.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you had the dragoness. I think she was a dragoness.
Trine.
Yeah. When the chick was in the cage.
Oh, Iliera.
Yeah.
Iliera is the princess, the Valkyrie princess, and mother. What's the other one?
Mm.
The King of
So,
Death's mother.
When she came down the stairs after she used her power to create light so she could see around her at least, and then realized that I wouldn't do that again. You don't know what you'll summon. That already had me like sitting in the back of my fucking head, like, okay, what could be possibly attracted to light in your world? What could be attracted to light? Because you would honestly think that the doppelgangers, when they're in their true form, which is like a tentacly fucking
mess.
Are we still on that?
I'm sorry, you were gone. I had to.
She's telling me a theory she has.
That they
Which
would
is exactly
be afraid of they would be afraid of light, or they would be like cast away from the light. Now, mind you, if they're in a form or something like that, yeah, they wouldn't be as not prone to the light, but it would
Mhm.
like less fuck with them. That is a good assumption, I think. Cash.
Mm, honestly, I haven't really thought that far into it as far as like whether they like light or don't like light or whatever, or just it's indifferent, to be honest. But there are other things that are attracted to light.
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll have a conversation later when Izzy's not around because Izzy it makes Izzy cringe. Um, I mean, it makes me cringe, but I'm invested, very much invested.
Well, and the number one thing that all doppelgangers that across literature and movies and media and video and all that shit is that they can take on the form someone else, right?
Right.
That's why we call, oh my God, Lizzie Cash clone. The Cash clone is a Cash, right? Because they look so much alike. No turkey basters were involved. However, the thing is that beyond that, that thing, the look-alike part, I have seen so many different. They look humanoid, or they look with tentacles, kind of thing. I've even seen somebody say a mind flayer. If you're familiar with D&D, Forgotten Realms, a mind flayer is a doppelganger in some things. So I guess Akesh is just going to have to develop that, and we now have tentacles in her world being freaking menacing, and it's bullshit. Okay, it is bullshit. It is bullshit with that stinking venomous paralytic goop. Okay, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Sure about that, sis?
Nope. I've puked a little bit in my mouth. Mm.
Wait until you read the book.
No, absolutely, Bitzer. I get that. Somebody that I was speaking with, they were talking about a doppelganger, and the way they were describing them physically, like, reminded me of a description of a mind flayer in R.A. Salvatore's works. And I looked at them and I said, "Are you talking about a mind flayer? Because that sounds exactly like a mind flayer." And they're like, "Well, I kind of took the looks based off of that." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole and somebody else pushing. Let's move on. Oh, just he wait. Just he wait. All right. Last but not least, our fearless leader who is to blame for all of this, one Julie DeFisher. The wolf comes out tonight. Cassian's footsteps softened as he approached the end of the long upstairs hallway. Most of the house was buzzing. Doors opening, staff moving crates, someone shouting about table arrangements. But this hallway was quiet, almost too quiet. Like it had been removed from existence and placed into its own little bubble. He pushed his bedroom door open without thinking and stopped cold in his tracks. Riot was curled across his old bed, knees tucked up, one hand under her cheek. Her hair spilled across his pillow like ink on parchment. The late afternoon light filtered through the tall windows, catching the edges of her curls and turning them gold. She looked small, and she never looked small. Cassian's throat went tight. His first instinct, overpowering, reckless even, was to slip off his jacket, crawl into the bed beside her, pull her against his chest, and let the world burn. Let the party run itself. Let his grandfather choke on the outrage. But he couldn't. Not yet. She shifted in her sleep, and his heart lurched. The blankets had slipped low around her hips, exposing the bare skin above the waistband of her jeans. She always slept like she lived, unapologetically, brazen without meaning to be, taking up space she didn't think she deserved. Cassian leaned against the doorframe, letting himself watch her for just a moment, just long enough to feel the ache of everything he wasn't saying. Grace's words echoed. You can't go from obsessively watching her to not saying a word all day. She's terrified. You love her. He ran a hand through his hair. God help him, they weren't wrong. Cassian stepped closer, slow, controlled, careful not to startle her. The mattress dipped slightly as he sat on the edge of the bed, hesitating to touch her. Then, with the gentleness no one in his world ever saw from him, Cassian brushed a strand of hair away from her cheek. His fingers lingered just long enough to memorize the warmth of her skin. Riot, he whispered. She didn't stir. He leaned down, lips brushing the curve where her jaw met her neck. Barely a kiss, more breath than contact. Silent, tender, the kind of affection he'd never let himself give her when she was awake. Another kiss, just below her ear. Hey, he whispered, lower this time. Wake up, sweetheart. She inhaled sharply, eyelids fluttering before her gaze lifted to meet his, still soft with sleep, still unguarded. Cassian? Her voice rasped, rough and warm in a way that hit him square in the chest. He smiled, small, involuntary. You fell asleep, he murmured. Grace sent a message. She needs you in her room to get ready. It took a moment for the words to register. Riot pushed up slowly on her elbows, blinking at the dimming light, at him, at the room she hadn't meant to nap in. She touched her face, confused. What time is it? A little after 6. Her eyes widened. Shit! Cassian caught her wrist before she could bolt upright, not stopping her, just grounding her. You're fine, he said softly. Take your time. She stilled, staring at him with something like uncertainty and something like hope. For the first time all day, Cassian didn't look away. He rose, offering his hand to help her sit up fully. When she took it, his thumb brushed the back of her knuckles, a slow, deliberate stroke that made her breath hitch. Come on, he said, voice warm, almost coaxing. I'll walk you to Grace's room. Riot nodded, cheeks pink from sleep, or maybe from him. Cassian led her into the hallway, staying closer than necessary. Not touching, but orbiting her with intent. When they reached Grace's door, Grace swung it open immediately like she had been waiting. Perfect, she said, grabbing Riot's arm. Hand her over. Cassian raised a brow. You could say that without sounding like you're kidnapping her. No, Grace said cheerfully, tugging Riot inside. I can't. Before she could shut the door, Cassian leaned in, just enough for Riot to hear. Try not to give her too much hell, he murmured. And have a good evening. He pressed a brief kiss to Riot's forehead, soft, unexpected, intimate in a way that made Grace's eyebrows shoot up. Riot froze for half a heartbeat. Cassian didn't give her time to overthink it. He stepped back, smoothing his tie, the cool executive mask sliding back into place just enough to hide the chaos he left behind in her. See you in a bit, he added, voice low. Then he turned and walked away before either of them saw the way his hand shook. Grace shut the bedroom door behind them with her hip. Okay, she said, clapping her hands once. Strip! Riot blinked. Excuse me? Grace rolled her eyes dramatically. Clothes, Riot, not dignity. That ship sailed when I saw you wrapped around my brother this morning. Riot's face flushed instantly. We were not. Oh, please. Grace dove into the boutique bags piled on the bed. You were drooling on his chest. He was smiling. I nearly burst into him. I was asleep, Riot muttered. Sure, Grace said. Sleep. She smirked. Let me have nice things, okay? She held up the black dress they'd bought earlier, a sleek, minimal silhouette with a low back and a neckline that was elegant but dangerous. Riot swallowed. I still don't know if that's too much. It's just enough, Grace countered. Trust me. So you're going to wear this, walk next to him, and remind every woman there why he walked out with a ring on his finger. Start over. You're not. Grace nudged her toward the bathroom. You're just showing up. Riot hesitated. Grace's voice softened immediately. Go get changed. I'll set up your makeup. Riot slipped into the bathroom, emerging a few minutes later in the dress. Grace froze mid eyeshadow selection. Holy shit. Riot tugged at the hem. Is it too? It's perfect, Grace said, genuinely struck. You look like you stepped out of a Vogue spread and decided to slub it with us mortals. Riot snorted, but nerves flickered beneath it. Grace guided her to say, okay, makeup. Riot stiffened. Grace, I really don't. I know. Grace said gently, but humor me. I'm not going full glam, just mission, not disguise. Riot reluctantly let her. Practiced ease, light contour, a touch of highlight, a deep berry lip that made Riot's mouth look heartbreakingly soft and ruthlessly confident at the same time. Halfway through, Grace paused, studying her. You're quiet, she said. I'm always quiet, Riot replied. Not like this. Grace put the brush. Riot looked away. There's nothing to talk about. Bullshit. Grace crossed her arms. You looked like you were going to run this morning. I could practically smell the panic radiating off you. Riot's jaw tightened. Grace sighed, softening again. Look, I know you're trying your damnedest to be tough, but the truth is you're terrified. Riot's breath caught. The room suddenly felt too warm, too sharp. Grace kneeled a little to meet her eyes. You think I don't get it? You married into a world that isn't just rich, it's political, vicious, full of expectations no one bothered to warn you about. And my brother doesn't make anything easy. He's Cassian. Riot huffed a shaky laugh. Yeah. Grace smiled faintly. But I've seen the way he looks at you. Riot's cheeks warmed. Grace, no. Grace placed a hand on her arm. Listen, my brother is a lot of things, but indifferent isn't one of them. You scare him as much as he scares you. So stop trying to figure everything out tonight. Just focus on now. Riot inhaled, slowly, letting the words settle. Then Grace tapped her cheek lightly. And focus on not smudging your eyeliner, because I worked hard on that. Riot laughed, actually laughed, and tension loosened in her shoulders. Grace stepped back, pleased. There she is. She handed Riot a pair of black heels. Put these on, and remember, chin up, shoulders back, walk like you didn't come from his world. Walk like you're about to redefine it. Riot stood. Grace let out a low whistle. Cassian is going to lose his goddamn mind. A knock came at the door. Are you two ready? Cassian's voice carried through the wood, deep, controlled, but with a strain of impatience. Grace smirked at Riot and muttered, Showtime. Cassian gave two soft knocks, knuckles brushing the carved wood. Showtime, he called, low and controlled. The door cracked open, and he stopped breathing. Riot stood there, black dress clinging in devastating places, hair pinned back to expose her throat, cheekbones sharper than sin. She looked like trouble dressed for a funeral. His funeral. Cassian's hand curled on the doorframe. Fuck, he muttered under his breath before he could stop himself. Riot arches a brow. What? Before he can answer, Grace appeared behind her like a brightly dressed assassin. Don't you have a party to host? She asks, and shut the door right in his face without waiting for a response. He blinked at the door, then exhaled, then muttered something about that sounded suspiciously like a prayer. Downstairs, the main floor of the Lock estate was already buzzing. Caterers wove around the dining hall, staff opening the double doors for arriving guests, laughter echoing under the chandeliers. Cassian positioned himself beside Elizabeth and his grandfather near the receiving line, the perfect host. At least on the surface. Inside, he was vibrating. He kept glancing toward the staircase, like a man waiting for the Grim Reaper and a blessing at the same time. Silas shot him a look. Stand still, boy. You're twitching. Cassian clamped his jaw. I'm fine. Elizabeth just smiled knowingly. Grace appeared first at the top of the staircase in a gold dress that literally caught the light. She descended with practiced elegance, then stepped aside, a little smile curving her mouth. Then Riot stepped into view. Every conversation below the stairs paused for half a second. She walked down with that fearless, irritated swagger, chin high, eyes sharp, posture screaming, let's get this the fuck over with. Her black dress moved like smoke around her legs. Under the soft lighting, the tattoo peeked from the back of her shoulder blade, drawing a few curious stares. Cassian forgot how to breathe for the second time in 10 minutes. Grace leaned in as she passed him on her way down. Cass, she whispers, your jaw's on the floor. Pick it up. Cassian didn't pick it up. He stepped forward instead, offering Riot his arm. She hesitated, but only for a beat, before resting her hand lightly against his elbow. Her touch was warm. He looked down at her like he'd been starving. Ready? He asked softly. No, she said, but let's go anyway. The reception room opened into a swirl of Nashville's elite. Politicians, business partners, donors, old money families with too many rings and too much gossip. Cassian played host with perfunctory politeness, introducing Riot only when necessary. This is my wife, Sabrina. Each time he said it, something flared in his eyes. Possessive, sharp, almost proud. Riot was stiff at first, her responses clipped but polite. Grace stayed near her, steering her toward friendlier faces, distracting her during boring conversations, whispering commentary that made Riot bite back smiles. Elizabeth watched the two women with satisfied approval. Cassian's grandfather watched Riot with speculative interest. Cassian watched Riot like she was the only person in the damn building. The dining hall glowed under warm light, the long polished table already set with porcelain plates rimmed in gold, heavy silverware, and bottles of wine. And bottles of wine Cassian didn't bother to drink anymore. Riot took the seat he pulled out for her, stiff for half a beat before she eased into the chair like she was preparing for a test instead of roasted duck and polite conversation. Cassian sat beside her, jaw tight, posture perfect, eyes flicking to her every few seconds as if checking her pulse. Across from Riot, Elizabeth's expression softened. Grace sat on Riot's other side, smirking like she had front row seats to the most chaotic play ever written. Silas Locke took the head of the table, his cane propped beside him. He cleared his throat once, and the entire table went silent. Since you are all here, he said, voice commanding, despite age softening the edges, I trust Luck Industries is still standing. Cassian. Cassian replied with the kind of clipped professionalism he used for board meetings. Stronger than ever. Hmm. The old man's gaze slid to Riot, measuring, weighing. And your wife? Cassian didn't hesitate. This is Sabrina, my wife. Riot gave a polite nod. She could feel the weight of those words on Cassian's tongue, like he enjoyed saying them more than he wanted to let on. Grace hid a grin behind her wine glass. Conversation eventually loosened, drifting to safer topics. Business deals, charity partnerships, which politicians were irritating this week. Riot spoke, hands neatly folded on her lap, back straight. Cassian made sure to include her when it made sense, but never forced her to the spotlight. Halfway through the first course, Elizabeth leaned forward, directing her warmth squarely at Riot. Grace told me something wonderful earlier, she said. She mentioned you work with metal. Riot blinked, but nodded. I'm a mechanic primarily. Welding comes with the job. But you do more than that, Elizabeth pressed gently. Grace said you used to make things. Sculptures? Riot shot Grace a side eye. Grace only lifted a shoulder, unbothered. Don't look at me like that. They're gorgeous. A smile. And you know it. Cassian paused his glass midair. His eyes slid to Riot with interest he didn't bother masking. Riot shifted slightly. It was just something I did with scrap. Nothing serious, just shapes, designs. Sometimes I used old gears or chains, whatever I had laying around. Elizabeth lit up. I would love to see them. Riot's cheeks warmed. They're not Luck Estate material. Nonsense, Elizabeth said with absolute conviction. Beauty doesn't need pedigree. Sometimes the things built from nothing are the most honest. Cassian's gaze lingered on Riot. A long moment, like he was remembering her hands on an engine, remembering the things she built when the world wasn't watching. His grandfather interrupted before the moment got too intimate. And how exactly does welding fit into our world, Cassian? He asked, voice thick with skepticism. Cassian set his fork down with controlled grace. It fits because she does. Riot's breath caught at
Everything okay?
Okay, we are back up on the Twitch side. Looks like YouTube is still up. No, Leon, it was not you. It was not you. I got a notification suddenly on the OBS computer that OBS was trying to reconnect. So, I'm not sure I want to know what that means, Bitzer. Aw. Good to go. All right. Other Julie DeFisher has put a heart in the chat. Make sure that you put a heart
My
in the chat.
picture is gone. My video.
On which? You got to be more specific for you. Back
On
end or
Twitch. On the front end. Like where I'm seeing it on the screen is just my round picture of my plague doctor.
okay,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
showing
seeing
that it's back up. I'm seeing that it's back up on YouTube and back up on Twitch. All right.
No,
Bitzer,
my stream
Documancer.
stopped.
Yeah, you might have to refresh the page.
Mm-hmm. There we go. I'm good now.
Okay. Shay says frozen again.
I would like to amend that this is the second week in a row this has happened during mine.
It says an error has occurred trying to play this content.
Go to My Pen Promptcast. Try that again. Or are you watching through a browser or are you watching through
I'm
app?
doing the app. I'm doing the app on this.
Close the app and open it back up. Patrick has disappeared.
I think he just got up and went somewhere for a second, but
I
Okay.
know.
Other than
Oh,
the fact that
Leon's.
my picture's just
Okay.
and now it's like, oh wow. Twitch be twitching. Because it's all blurry now.
Yeah, this may be a Twitch issue because although I did see some lag on the YouTube side and OBS did have a connectivity issue, I could not tell if it was connectivity to Twitch or connectivity to YouTube or just completely issued. But yeah, I'm thinking it might have been a Twitch issue. Thank goodness that we're not exporting anymore. Okay. Let me pop back up here. Yeah. Oh, by the way, what, Leon? You fell asleep or something. I don't know. We didn't have a 6. Ah!
So 3, because you divide it by 2.
Don't defend him. Don't give him an out. He said Metallica was country because they did a Southern rock album. Not the same thing. And he said Backstreet Boys was metal. No. There's no excuse. Any hoozle, let's get back. Dinner flowed on. Elizabeth asked about riots for fools. No, we're going to blame Julie.
Why are we blaming me?
We are blaming Julie because this is happening during her submission. And this whole freaking thing is your fault anyway. The fact that we now all spend our entire weekends prepping, preparing, counting down. The Discord literally had our viewership counting down the hours until we were going live in chat. This is your fault. I just do whatever I can to make your dream a reality, but this is all your fault.
Technically, it's Glee's fault.
You can blame her. I'm blaming you.
Why? Because I took the idea and ran with it?
Yes. You put action behind it. I'm just support staff.
You're the one that creates all the.
Oh, not all of it. I had nothing to do with this overlay. That was all Ms. Shar.
But you're the original creator of the Hold My Pen Promptcast one.
Shut up. Doesn't matter. I'm support staff. Okay. Grace kept Riot talking too, occasionally steering conversation away from subjects that made her stiffen. Political donors, old money expectations, who belonged and who didn't. At one point, Cassian leaned slightly toward Riot, dropping his voice low enough for only her to hear. You're doing fine. I'm surviving, Riot muttered. He almost smiled. Same thing tonight. Their hands brushed under the table when serving dishes were passed. Neither of them moved away fast enough for Grace not to notice. She smirked again, kicking Cassian a third time just because she could. Riot saw it and almost snorted. By the time dessert arrived, the room had shifted. Riot no longer looked like a stranger sitting at a table she didn't belong to. She looked like a force the Locks would eventually have to reckon with, one Elizabeth already welcomed, one Grace already adored, and one Cassian couldn't take his eyes off. And drifting toward the solarium for after-dinner drinks, Cassian rose first, offering Riot his hand. It was only polite. It was also something more. Ready? He asked. She exhaled. As I'll ever be. Cassian's fingers folded around hers, warm and firm, grounding her as he led her into the next gauntlet of the night. The solarium hummed with polished conversation, clinking glasses, and the soft swell of a string quartet stationed in the far corner. Cassian led Riot through the crowd with a quiet, practiced ease, his hand a steady presence at the small of her back. She felt every press of his fingertips like they were checkpoints. I'm here. Stay with me. Don't bolt. Eyes followed them, some curious, some calculating, some trying to figure out who the hell Cassian Locke had married. Cassian ignored all of them. He introduced her as Sabrina Locke, voice even, confident, unshakably proud in a way that confused the hell out of Riot. Men twice his age wanted to talk business. Women wanted to know how they met, where they honeymooned, how she liked Nashville. Cassian fielded every invasive question with clean lies spoken so smoothly, even Riot almost believed them. Riot gave polite smiles, careful answers, nothing extra. She felt the effort in her bones. After 20 minutes, Cassian bent his head toward her. His lips skimmed her ear, not touching, just close enough to make her heart misbehave. You're at your limit, he murmured. Pretty sure I hit it 10 minutes ago. Riot smiled through gritted teeth. He didn't smile, but a ghost of one tugged at the edge of his mouth. Come with me. Cassian excused them both from the cluster of executives and donors, ignoring the knowing looks from a pair of older women who had definitely decided something scandalous was happening. He guided Riot through the crowd, down a short hallway lit with soft wall sconces. and out onto a wide balcony that overlooked the estate gardens. Cold night air hit her face, crisp and clean compared to the stifling performance happening out inside. Riot breathed like she hadn't been allowed to for an hour. Cassian closed the door behind them, the soft click sealing them off from the world. You did well, he said. She leaned on the railing, glaring at the manicured hedges like they offended her personally. I don't think did well covers wanting to punch your cousin when he asked if I was pregnant yet. She asks everyone that, Cassian said dryly. Don't take it personally. Still wanted to deck her, Riot muttered. Pretty sure she thought my ring was from a gumball machine. Cassian stepped beside her, close enough she felt his warmth through the thin black dress Grace had forced on her. She doesn't matter, he said. None of them matter. What matters is that you're here. Riot snorted. Yeah, well, I'm trying not to embarrass you. You haven't embarrassed me once. She glanced up, skeptical. You sure about that? Cassian turned toward her fully then, resting one hand lightly on the railing beside hers, not touching, but caging her in all the same. You think you're fooling anyone? He asked quietly. I know you're trying your damnedest to act tough, like you're not out of your element, like none of this is getting under your skin. But the truth is you're terrified. Riot stiffened, jaw tensing. That obvious? Only to me. He reached up, tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear. She didn't flinch, but her breath caught. Stop trying to figure everything out, he said, voice low, steady. Just focus on now. Her throat tightened. Now, she whispered. Right. Exactly. They stood like that, too close, too aware, until she felt her pulse settle and her lungs cooperate again. Inside, someone laughed too loudly. Another wave of music drifted through the glass. The party moved on without them. Unaware the real tension in the house sat on the balcony, breathing through a moment that shouldn't have felt as intimate as it did. Cassian finally exhaled and stepped back. We should go in, he said, before Grace comes to drag us back. And starts rumors, Riot muttered. She'll do that anyway. Riot huffed a quiet laugh. It surprised Cassian enough that his shoulders softened. He reached for the door, holding it open for her. When she walked inside, he followed close behind. They didn't get more than 3 steps into the solarium before trouble found them. Riot's expression was once again carved into that neutral, armored calm she'd been holding all night. Cassian walked half a step behind her, one hand hovering near her lower back, but never quite touching. Grace clocked the distance immediately. She materialized beside them with a bright, too delicate smile. Bar your wife? Grace asked Cassian without waiting for a yes. Her hand slid around Riot's arm. My friends are here with their husbands, and I promised them I'd introduce them to the mysterious Sabrina. Cassian hesitated, minutely, but nodded. Grace whisked Riot into a small circle of guests about 20 feet away, and that's precisely when the trap snapped shut. Vivian Harrow, all polished cream silk and weaponized charm, glided toward Cassian like she'd been waiting for the exact moment Riot disappeared. Cassian Locke, she purred. Your grandfather didn't you brought a date tonight. He exhaled, long wife. Her brows arched in delicate surprise. Yes, I heard the rumors. Marrying someone so quickly, so quietly. I suppose it makes sense. You were never one to entertain unnecessary distractions. Vivian, he said tightly, now really isn't. But she didn't give a single damn. Dance with me. It wasn't a question. She rested a hand on his forearm, nails like pearls. For old time's sake. Cassin looked ready to decline. until he caught sight of Silas Locke across the room, giving him the be polite glare of a man who would absolutely call a family meeting over this. So Cassian, jaw clenched hard enough to crack, stepped onto the dance floor with Vivian. Across the room, Grace introduced Riot to a pair of couples around their age. The men relaxed immediately. Women with knives for cheekbones made them nervous. Women with grease under their old scars, less so. One of them grinned. Your accent, Shelbyville, right? Riot smiled. Rust Creek, actually, but I recently moved to Shelbyville. I've been looking at a 72 Chevelle down there, thinking about buying it if the seller ever stops jerking me around. A tall man in a navy suit stepped from the side of a very nicely dressed brunette. Riot's eyes flickered. Finally, something familiar. 72? She asked. Small block or big? Seller says big block. Riot snorted softly. If he says big block instead of giving an actual cubic inch number, it's a small block. Someone slapped stickers on. At best. The man blinked. His wife laughed. You know cars? He asked. Riot shrugged, modest but not shy. I rebuild them for a living. Weld custom frames, restore bodies. Prefer 2 wheels to 4, though. Motorcycles? American muscle, she answered. Old Harley Softails, early gen Sportsters, less plastic, less bullshit. The entire group lit up. One of the wives nudged her husband. Told you she wasn't just a pretty face. Riot's cheeks warmed faintly, that soft, reluctant sweetness peeking through. Grace watched her with a proud little smirk. She fits just fine, she thought. Cassian's the one fumbling the ball. Right on cue, Silas Locke slid into their circle like he'd been listening the whole time. Sabrina, he said warmly, tell this man why electric vehicles are the devil. Riot blinked. Excuse me? Go on, he insisted. Tell him why cars should sound like cars. Riot bit back a laugh. Sir, if I start talking about EV torque curves at a dinner party, you'll never get rid of me. Good, he grinned. Shake this place up a bit. Too many people whispering about hedge funds and board seats. Boring as hell. The circle erupted in laughter. Riot shifted, suddenly aware of a silence behind her. Not in the group, but across the room. Grace noticed first. Her eyes sharpened. Riot, she murmured. Don't look now, but your husband is on the dance floor. Riot didn't react, didn't stiffen, didn't blink. She just said quietly, I'm sure he is. Grace's jaw tightened. Then Riot looked and saw Vivian Harrow's hand sliding up Cassian's shoulder, her chin tilted up, her smile syrup sweet and territorial. Riot didn't bristle. She didn't posture. She simply said, well, she wastes no time, does she? Soft, sweet, and edged like a knife. Grace nearly snorted. Oh, sweetheart, that woman came out of the womb with a marriage license in her hand. Grace guided the little group toward the dance floor, Riot included. They reached the edge just as the song ended and Cassian stepped away from Vivian. Too slowly for Grace's liking, and far too slowly for Riot's. Vivian noticed them first. Her smile sharpened like a knife dipped in honey. Cassian cleared his throat. Vivian, this is my wife, Sabrina Locke. He said wife like a shield. He said Sabrina like a promise. Vivian's gaze skimmed Riot from head to toe, slow enough to be insulting. She murmured. This is the wife. You're not what I pictured. Riot's smile bloomed. Sweet, almost innocent. The kind that should come with a warning label. And you, she replied softly, are exactly what I pictured. Vivian blinked, thrown for half a second. Cassian tried to step forward, but Riot took a subtle half step ahead of him, not rejecting him, just standing on her own 2 feet. Silas Locke watched from a few feet away, cane in hand, eyes glittering. He was amused. He was calculating. He was absolutely judging her every move. Vivian leaned closer to Cassian, close enough to imply fantasies that never happened. Well, she said, eyes locked on Riot, if you ever grow bored of this little arrangement. Riot didn't let her finish. Her voice stayed warm, almost breathy, dipped in sugar and arsenic. If my husband ever decided to go slumming, she tilted her head, lashes low, you still wouldn't make his top 5. Vivian's smile cracked. Grace choked. Cassian froze. Silas's eyebrows lifted, surprised and impressed despite himself. Vivian regained her composure with a sharp inhale. How charming! A wife who thinks insults make her look confident. Riot shrugged delicately. Confidence isn't the issue. Accuracy is. Silas barked a soft laugh, one loud enough to turn a few heads, but small enough to pass as harmless amusement. Lord, Sabrina, he chuckled, you've got a tongue on you. Riot didn't bow to him, didn't wilt. She looked Silas in the eye. I've got a lot of things, Mr. Locke. Respect usually goes both ways. Something shifted in silence. He didn't smile, but he didn't scowl either. A silent acknowledgement, a flicker of respect earned, not given. Vivian, feeling the tide turn, snapped. Some men prefer refined women, Sabrina, not greasy hands and whatever it is you do. Riot's smile widened, dangerously gentle. Some women mistake being polished for being wanted, a pretty face for being delicate, and hard work as something to shy away from. She leaned in just a touch. Bless your heart. Southern, weaponized, a kill shot. Vivian recoiled like she'd been slapped. Grace whispered, Holy shit, under her breath. Cassian finally reached for Riot's hand, not to pull her back, but because he needed the grounding. Silas tapped his cane once, decisively. Vivian, he said, tone sharp enough to cut glass. I believe Sabrina's made her point. You're dismissed. Vivian paled. Silas Locke did not dismiss the Harrow heiress. Ever. She retreated with a stiff nod, pride dragging behind her like a broken train. When she was gone, Silas turned to Riot, still testing, still critical, but no longer underestimating her. Didn't think you had it in you, he admitted. A pause. Consider me reassessing. Riot nodded once. Reassess all you want. I'm not going anywhere. Silas studied her. Then, just barely, he smirked. We'll see. He walked off, cane tapping, mind already turning over the possibilities. Cassian exhaled, tension rolling off him. Grace leaned in and whispered to Riot, Oh, sweetheart, you just won the old bastard's respect. That's harder than winning the Powerball. Riot only shrugged. Guess I hit the jackpot tonight, then. Riot barely had time to breathe after Vivian slunk away when Grace's trio of friends swooped back in, wide-eyed, impressed, and openly delighted that someone finally put Vivian Harrow in her place. Grace looped her arm through Riot's. Ladies, she announced, this is my amazing sister-in-law, Sabrina. The chorus of greetings was warm, genuinely warm, which Riot was still getting used to. One of the husbands, the tall guy with the navy blazer from earlier, stepped forward sheepishly. Sabrina, sorry to interrupt, he said, rubbing the back of his neck. About the 72 Chevelle I mentioned, do you mind taking a look tomorrow? Just to make sure I'm not getting scammed. Riot's eyes lit just enough to notice. What trim? SS, he answered. She snorted. Everybody says that. The group laughed. He brightened. So, you'll take a look? Riot shrugged like it was nothing, but Grace saw the softening around her eyes. If you bring it by the shop, I'll tell you the truth, even if the truth hurts. He grinned. I can work with that. My wife's been praying I don't buy a lemon. His wife elbowed him. I don't want you buying a garage ornament. Riot smirked. Well, if it's an ornament, I can tell you exactly which part will fall off first. The group roared, laughing. Grace squeezed her hand, leaning close. See, she whispered, you fit in better than any of these people do. Riot rolled her eyes, but the corner of her mouth twitched. Across the room, she caught Cassian watching her. Not possessive, not obsessive, just stunned. Grace nudged her again. You're knocking down everyone's walls but his. Might want to fix that later. Riot muttered, later. Cassian was still rooted near the edge of the dance floor, jaw tight, tie loosened, watching Riot handle Grace's friends with unexpected ease. Silas approached like a shadow in a tailor suit, cane tapping once, twice, each step measured. Cassian. Cass drew in a slow breath. Grandfather. Silas didn't look at him at first. He was watching Riot, the way she didn't shrink, didn't polish herself to fit, didn't pretend to be porcelain. He hummed low in his throat. That wife of yours, Silas murmured, is not what I expected. Cassian's jaw clenched. She's my wife. That's all that matters. Silas finally turned his eyes on him, sharp, incisive. Is it? Cassian stiffened. Silas leaned in slightly, voice just loud enough for Cassian alone. You looked at Vivian the way a guilty man looks at a consequence. Cassian bristled. I didn't want to dance with her. Silas tilted his head. Then why did you? Cass didn't answer. He'd already seen the trap laid before him. Silas tapped his cane once. You're slipping. Cassian's fist curled at his sides. I'm doing everything right. Silas's eyes narrowed just short of pity. You're doing everything you think she wants. Cassian swallowed hard. Silas gestured subtly toward Riot across the room. That girl doesn't want a butler. She wants a partner. Cassian's voice dropped. I'm honoring her wishes, not crowding her. Silas snorted. Space isn't what you're giving her. It's distance. Cassian faltered. Silas continued, clipped but not cruel. If you want this marriage to work, and I mean truly work, past those years you hid in that contract, he raised a brow, you will have to show her more than money and caution. Cassian whispered almost defensively, I don't want to scare her off. Silas's expression softened, unique, fleeting but real. My boy, you're not going to scare that woman off. A pause. But you might bore her off. Cassian blinked. Silas straightened. You'll stay here tonight. Cassian nodded faintly. Silas added, and before the evening ends, tell her the truth. Cassian's pulse kicked. About what? Silas smiled wickedly. That the moment she walked into your life, you forgot everyone else existed. Cassian's breath stuttered. Silas patted his shoulder once, rare, meaningful. Go on then, before someone else figures that out first. He walked away, leaving Cassian standing perfectly still, heart pounding and mind thunderstruck. And across the room, Riot finally looked up, caught him staring, and didn't look away. Cassian crossed the moth to a flame. Riot was mid-conversation with Grace's group, teasing a guy about a Camaro when Cassian moved in behind her. Silas's words were still vibrating in his bones. He stepped into the circle with a polite nod to the group, but his eyes were locked entirely, shamelessly, on Riot. Excuse me, he said, smoother than he felt, but I need to steal my wife back for a moment. Grace smirked like she'd been waiting all damn night for this. Riot arched a brow. Steal? Her tone was teasing, but cautious. Cassian offered his hand, not commanding, not entitled, invitation. A dance, he said quietly. She hesitated half a heartbeat, long enough for him to die and resurrect, then placed her hand in his. Cassian exhaled like he'd been underwater for hours. He led her onto the dance floor right as the band eased into something low, slow, and old fashioned. Strings and soft drums meant for bodies that knew each other. Cassian slid one hand to the small of her back, the other holding her fingers with more care than confidence. Riot's free hand hovered awkwardly at first, then settled against his shoulder. She fit closer than he remembered. Or maybe he'd just been starving. Riot looked up at him. You're being weird. Cassian huffed a small laugh. Just trying to do something right. She gave him a skeptical look. They moved slowly, but the air felt tight between them. So what changed? She asked, voice soft but edged. You avoid me all day, then suddenly you want to dance? Cassian swallowed. He brushed his thumb over the back of her hand, hesitant, reverent. I realized I've been keeping too much distance, he admitted. I didn't want to overwhelm you. Plus, I was the one that invited you to come up here. Riot snorted softly. You got me to marry you, Cassian. Bit too late to worry about overwhelming. His lips twitched. He leaned down just a little, not enough to crowd her, but enough to make her breath catch. You looked stunning tonight, he murmured. I couldn't stop staring, and the way you handled yourself. Her eyes flickered sideways. Vivian noticed. Cassian's jaw ticked. Vivian is irrelevant. She was touching you. He tightened his arm around her waist. I didn't want her to. I didn't ask her to, and I definitely didn't enjoy it. Riot didn't respond, but her shoulders relaxed a degree. They kept moving, slow circle, bodies brushing at the sway of each turn. After a moment, Cassian said quietly, Riot. She hummed. I like calling you that. Her gaze snapped up. There it was. The flicker of softness she hated showing. Sabrina, Riot, either works, she muttered. Cassian leaned closer, lips brushing her temple. Riot fits. The song faded. Neither of them let go right away. Then Riot stepped back, breathing just a little unsteady. Cassian kept hold of her hand. Come with me? Riot froze, evaluating him like she wasn't sure which version of Cassian she was getting right now. She finally nodded. He squeezed her hand once and led her out of the solarium, up the stairs, away from the noise and polished expectations of the Locke estate. The hall was dim, quiet, only soft lamplight guiding the way. Cassian opened the door to his old bedroom. Riot stopped in the doorway, remembering how she'd slept there earlier, remembering the things she'd found. Her voice was low. You sure you want to hide from your own party? Cassian turned to her, expression open in a way he rarely allowed. If hiding means spending the rest of the night with you, he stepped closer, voice dropping. Then yes. Riot swallowed. Cassian gently tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear. Stay with me tonight, he said. Not a command, not a plea, just truth. She didn't answer, but she didn't pull away. And Cassian took that as the first real yes she'd ever given him. Ugh. 3 more weeks. 3 more weeks. All limited to 2,500 words.
Emotional damage.
I laugh at that. Not really, but yes, because I'll have to like read it at one point.
Thank you, CD. Thank you. So really, here's the thing. The big key point here, right? I get so afraid as I am reading out, and there's more opportunity to me to fuck up voices, blah 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 blah. Then I start to have a little bit of performance anxiety trying to keep consistent, which is why I'm not going to narrate any books unless I get. Yeah, I was waiting for that, Patrick. So this was great. This was great. It's got a lot of things here and there. There were a few things that I corrected of verb tense as we were reading it so that nobody freaking knew. Well, now they know. I'm sorry, Julie. But, this was a very long piece and a lot of different emotional things popping in there with both of them. By the way, I love Grace. I have a second favorite character in this story now, and it's Grace. My first favorite is still Bishop. But no, they're not hooking up. I already told you my. Any hoozle. We need other people talking more often than just the reader reading out. Okay. Any hoozle. Not only that, but I was thinking about it the last couple of weeks ever since we've been talking about limiting them. And I can't wait to have this book in my hands. Anyway, 2,500 words, along with what Bitzer and Death's Head have been explaining about A Moth in the Archive and that limitation of how many words. Limiting down to 2,500 could hopefully help people focus on, and not only just getting the words out, but then going, okay, I need to maximize. So I can't have redundancies. I got to watch the words that I'm using in order to get the point across and be good. So really excited for that. Because on top of that, with our, secondary readers, it's a lot. Y'all know. Kesha's read some pretty long ones of her own on here. It's a lot to sit there and read out clearly. Julie, well done. This smolder between the two of them, the relationship that she is building with Grace, and Grace is saying what I said to Documancer earlier today. She fits in. I licked her. She's mine. I did have to explain to our local Frenchman that, what it meant, but, that's fine.
What, the licking and it's yours?
Yeah, I had to explain that. I didn't say I licked Leon. I did not say that.
Who? What?
Twitch is twitching. So a lot of our viewers have popped over to YouTube and they're still getting the thing. This is why we wanted to do two places at once. It's fine. It's why we have the multi-stream thing on our, the comments actually on the page so that people can go back and they can see your comments, see your wittiness. So if you got to jump from one to the other, that's fine. See, she got it. She understood. She knew what I was talking about. We had to explain it to the Frenchman.
You don't understand what, Leon? Is he still not understanding?
I don't know. Not my. Look, Americans have a crap ton of idioms that really do not translate well into other languages at all. And, typically the ones that are in other languages, it makes perfect sense to the French, to the Spanish, to the whatever, but it loses the power once it's translated into dumbass English. So,
Same thing. It doesn't translate other ways.
Yep. Yeah, Twitch be twitching. It's being really, really weird. Thank you, Trisha. Yes, that was a lot of drinking it down.
A lot of places in Europe, people don't just casually lick things. So most
No, it
of
is
Europe has
definitely
an American thing.
it is definitely an American possessive thing. Like I explained in the Discord general chat earlier today, look, you've got one lollipop. Okay, one lollipop. And you got a brother and you got a sister, okay? And they're fighting over who's going to get the last one, right? One sibling manages to get the wrapper off and they're fighting and struggling and mom's sitting here going, "Please don't poke an eye out." And then, finally one of them manages to put it in their freaking mouth and go, "There, I licked it. It's mine." It's claiming. Going, it's mine. You don't want it after I put it in my mouth, right? So the sibling that doesn't get it in their mouth is like, "Damn it. Yeah, that's gross. I ain't touching that. Oh, man. Mom."
I love your explanation.
Look, I have an older brother. Okay, or not older. I have a younger brother. Sorry. Younger brother.
Okay. As somebody who is the middle of 3, I have
Sounds
an
like a
older
you problem.
brother and a younger sister. And in that process, no, this is completely fucking valid. It's like going in there and getting the last Rice Krispie treat out of the fucking pan, and you, no, I
Because
lick it.
nobody
It's
else is
mine.
going to touch it. Yeah.
Well,
Now,
except for my
here's
sister,
my
who
problem.
I don't care. We shared the same cooties and ate it anyway.
Well, and see, here was the problem, right? I had a younger brother that I was raised with, one of way too many siblings that I have, but just the one that I was raised with. And he was 3.5 years younger than me. So I'm big sis, right? Except we spent the entirety of our childhood the same exact height and the same exact weight. It was a toss-up of which one of us was going to be stronger or quicker. Now, the only advantage I had is that he was allergic to everything in the barn. So I was the one out with Dad, pushing big, huge 2,000-pound animals out of my way and standing toe-to-toe with bulls. I was the one that was chucking 150-pound hay bales when I barely weighed 70 pounds myself. The only advantage I had was, number one, 3.5 years of experience, and the fact that I still have bad guns. Bad guns. And he was a wussy little thing. Anywho, so I did lick a lot of things. Solved a lot of arguments.
Oh, I'm sure.
And getting that yardstick across my ass was worth it because I got the candy.
You know what? I never had to deal with that.
Yeah. Must be nice to effectively be an only child. I
Didn't
really
have
would
to
have
share with siblings. Didn't have to share with siblings. Didn't have to fight.
I legitimately begged my father, my dad, the farmer, when I was 16, divorce her. Let her take him and go to town and live there. We don't need them. I can take over the farm someday. Teach me everything. We don't need her. We don't need him either. He's allergic to everything outside. So, just you and me, Dad. He didn't go for it. Anywho, you all have your assignment. Twitch be twitching. I need to get off of here before I get us banned.
And if anybody would like to, we're going to jump over to Discord for probably a little while before Izzy's got to go to bed. It's not long before Izzy's got to go to bed. But either which way, what is our prompt for this week?
Prompt for this week. Ah, shitballs. I closed DocuSign. Jesus Christ.
At least you didn't say you had DocuSign.
Use this
Trying to prep for
document.
work already.
Why did you bring me here?
Oh, yeah. That one.
And everybody remember, tune in on Saturday night because regardless if we have a 2-night show or not, we only roll for the prompt on Saturday nights.
Which means sometime between 11 and midnight, my time, Eastern. Adjust your times accordingly. We will be rolling. So if you can't make it, we get it. Pop in. Pop in. You can also, in the Discord, if you hadn't noticed, I don't remember where to find it on the mobile version, but on the desktop version, up in the top, it says that we are live right now, and there is the link to the Twitch. I got to adjust maybe somehow and get the YouTube in there as well. YouTube seemed to have been kinder to us tonight. So, I'm good. Anything else? If you want to be kind to Izzy's voice, try to keep it under 4K.
Yes, very much so.
I've been doing good the past couple weeks.
Yeah,
So what you're saying is, if I'm going to really do you wrong, is my next submission, so I can leapfrog back over Julie, needs to be 10K.
She knows where you live, dude. She has a friend that's willing to go on a road trip.
Well,
hey, stop by and pick me
I'm
up.
going on a road trip in March.
Yeah, so am I. Different road trip, though. Same weekend.
All right. Well, let's wrap it on up tonight. Everybody have an amazing week. Remember, you can always locate us over in the Discord. Please go over to the Beacons page, sign up for the newsletter. Otherwise, don't add to the population this week. Don't subtract from the population this week. If you do manage to get your ass fucking arrested like a dumbass, assert dominance, call us in case you need fucking bail money. We will take up a collection. Otherwise, be brave, be bold, but always stay humble. We will see you again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Bye.